Can we talk about what's going on with BMW, please? You know, not that long ago, BMW was making cars that looked like this. Clean body, small grille, the front made sense. The sides flowed well with the rest of the car. The back didn't look completely outrageous. It actually made sense. And the whole design itself was coherent. People didn't used to say, you know, I don't like the front of the car, but I like the sides. Or I don't like the sides of the car, I don't like the interior, I like the front. People would just say, I think the car looks good, or it doesn't. I like it or I don't. But that is not the case with BMW these days. Because the designs have gotten super controversial, I'm sure you know which ones I'm talking about.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro? You tripping?
But that's exactly what That's exactly what we're here to talk about today. And I think I have a valid opinion on this. I have owned this M5 E60, one of the most controversial BMWs ever made, for about 5-6 years now. So if there's anyone who knows anything about bad or ugly BMWs, it's me. But who am I kidding? This thing's beautiful. So BMW in the year 2023.
What is going on?
Now, first of all, I do want to mention, I do not think it is all bad. I think social media and blog posts and articles and things blow it way out of proportion in terms of the hate that BMW is getting. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you're into car culture, you might have been living under a rock. Because if you look anywhere on social media, if you're talking about the new M2, the new XM, any of the new models, you're gonna find a lot of hate. But if you dig a lot deeper, there's also a lot of love for these cars because they are different, they are new. BMW is notoriously known for all looking the same, and in my opinion, this new generation is actually a huge change. I bet you're still trying to figure out if this is gonna be a shitting on BMW video or a support of BMW video, and to be honest, I don't even know. I'm gonna give you both sides and let you decide. And of course, what I'm referring to first of all is BMW's change to the vertical grills. This was a very controversial choice that not a lot of people were happy with. This was introduced a few years ago, and immediately right away, the memes started coming out. BMW's grills are getting bigger with every single model year. What? You know, pretty much soon the whole front is gonna be a grill. To be honest, we're not that far away from that. But that's just kind of the design direction they're going in right now. If you look at the new M4s, if you look at the new M3s, they all follow this design philosophy of having a vertical grill, bringing everything kind of centered into the car, and then building the front around that. Now again, I'm a bit of a classic lover. My M5 E60 has the very well-known mustache-looking front grills. I think these look super clean. They're still one of my favorite parts of the front of this car. They did come chrome when I got the Silverstone 2 M5 E60, but I switched them to matte black. I think it looks a bit better, looks a bit more aggressive. But that is kind of the classic look. Now we've moved towards this more vertical look. And a lot of people are wondering, why are they even doing this? Why change all these things? Why change the front of these cars so much to make it basically look like a completely different car? Almost looks more like a fish. It looks more aquatic, I find. Well, in fact, the main reason that they're making these crazy design choices is not by accident. They're doing it on purpose. In 2022, BMW chairman Oliver Zipse actually came out and said that BMW has begun purposely designing off-the-cuff avant-garde style models to attract media attention, get people talking, and get some controversy going. He says he welcomes controversy. And the reason for that is because history shows that it works, and so BMW has decided to do it again. And what I'm talking about is way back when BMW released the E65 7 Series.
How do you do, fellow kids?
It was universally, seemingly, hated online, in the news, and any kind of car magazine, anything. Everyone was basically shitting on this car. Nobody liked the design. Yet, through all this talk and the new futuristic design that ended up being loved later on, it ended up outselling its predecessor by about 50,000 units. And so now they're doing it again. If you just look at the new M3 compared to the old one, totally different car. New M4 compared to the old one, totally different car. And with those designs, I get it. I am on board with the new M3, the new M4. I think those look good. New M5 hasn't really changed design that much compared to the old ones, but same thing. I think in terms of avant-garde styling for those, I think it works. I think the vertical grills were the beginning of this change, and it's worked now that time has gone on. It seems like with any new design, especially that BMW puts out, immediately it's hated, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, all of a sudden people are like, it's growing on me, I actually really like it. And all of a sudden you see everybody driving it. They seem to be one step ahead every time. It was the same thing with this M5 E60. When it came out, Top Gear literally called this the ugly M5. And sure enough, a couple years later, here we are, and it is a legendary collector's item with a V10 engine that is going up in price. It's appreciating every single year. It's become almost like an investment, and this thing has become legendary. Just like I think these M3s and 4s are doing now. It took 1, 2, 3 years, but now that we've gotten used to the new design, we've had some time to digest it. Here we are, and it's looking good for those cars. So there I am 100% on board with the new direction BMW is taking. Now, let's get to the not so good direction, and specifically I'm talking about the BMW M2 and the BMW XM. So first with the BMW M2, when that model released, it was one of the rare cars that was just universally loved right off the bat. I don't know anyone who's hated that BMW M2, the first model design that came out. It was legendary, it still holds up to this day, and that is one of the best decisions BMW has made to date. I think the BMW M2 is absolutely beautiful those first couple years. Now we've moved into 2023 and BMW has just released their new look at the BMW M2. It's out on the street now. And this one, I think the hate is warranted, and it's not one of those that is avant-garde, off the cuff, that's gonna grow on people over time.
I think this one is just straight up bad design.
First of all, the front of the car and the back of the car do not look like they belong to the same car. The front of the car looks like it's incomplete. The black grille in the middle that goes straight down and doesn't get rounded off at the bottom by any kind of body styling just makes it look unfinished. I'm not a fan of that at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of this car. But for me, it's not doing it. I do not like the front at all. And unfortunately, it only gets worse when we head to the back. The back of this M2 basically looks like it was stung by a bee. It looks swollen. It doesn't look like it matches the rest of the car. The lines don't seem to make sense. Some parts are round, some parts are square. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, BMW? I think out of all the new models that have come out, this BMW M2 is the most hated one so far. There's this trend going on like Reddit and Instagram and stuff where people are trying to take pictures of different angles of the M2 and saying like, I finally found an angle where the M2 looks good at. And if you have to do that, your car probably just doesn't look that good. Hopefully they fix these issues with the facelift era that's coming up. I think that'll fix some of it, but for now we're stuck with what we got. It doesn't look great for us, but again, it does come with all the power and performance that M is known for, and especially the M2, it's like basically a go-kart. And unfortunately, I think the new BMW M2, right now as it is one of the worst models they've ever released. I am not a fan. And then we move on to the other new model that BMW has released that isn't looking good whatsoever, and that is the BMW XM.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro. You tripping.
Which competes in price with the Lamborghini Urus. So you would expect that this thing, if it's gonna cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, this thing better be, top notch, which on the inside it is, and on the outside, and have that look of a powerful BMW car. But no. Instead, we have this elephant rhino pig looking car that looks like it got like, it drove too fast in a wall and the whole front got mushed in and up. It looks like a fridge on wheels. I'm not a fan of this one at all. I don't know why they put that like dip in the hood and then have it come up and down. It looks like it's literally an elephant trunk. Like, what are you doing? And then to have it cost as much as the Urus, in my opinion, I'm going Urus every single time there. Now, yes, it is electric and the inside is absolutely gorgeous. This thing is beautiful on the inside, and even better when you're sitting and driving it, you don't have to see it from the outside. So double win for you if you are buying an XM. But for the rest of us that have to see it from the outside, maybe take it home, maybe toss some ice on there because you're definitely getting a nosebleed or you got some kind of swollen nose on the front of that car that I am not a fan of at all. And it doesn't get much better on the back, as they've actually left out the BMW logo and just put XM, so I think the trunk looks unfinished. First of all, it looks like you've done an emblem delete on a car that doesn't need it. And in my opinion, with that missing emblem in the middle, that trunk space is way too big, and it just makes the taillights look way too far apart. So it looks like the car is kind of, looking sideways, looking outwards. I am from the back. I'm not a fan of this thing. The butt's too big, the nose is too big, it's too wide. I just feel like this is the wrong choice, especially for the price point it's at. If you're gonna have that price point, you gotta have the looks to match all that interior and performance and tech. You gotta have the outside look that says this is a luxury car. and not that this is a blown up raspberry on wheels. You know what I mean? So we're kind of headed in two directions with BMW right now. We have the really cool, really new futuristic cars that are moving in the right direction in terms of design. They were ahead of their time when they were released. People have now warmed up to them, and that was on us. We hated them at first because we were naive and old and saying, we don't like change. But here we are, and I think we're headed in the right direction with the M3, the M4, the M5, and all those. But at the same time, BMW is also backpedaling a bit with the new M2 without this facelift. Where it's at right now, it doesn't even compare to the older model M2. The look of that older M2 is just so much better. If I had to pick between the two, I would buy the older one right now. It's cheaper. I could get one used. Like, why wouldn't you? And I think the XM, without saying, doesn't look great. I think it's too bulky. The front is what bothers me the most. The fact that the headlights flare up on the sides more so than the middle of the hood. Making the front look too bulky where it gets smaller towards the back. I don't think it should be that way. I think that, you know, lines on a car shouldn't flow like that. It doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. But again, maybe I'm being naive. Maybe the XM is going to grow on me and everyone else in the coming 2-3 years, along with this M2 when it gets its facelift. But as it stands right now, the M2 looks like a retired Bionicle. And the XM looks like a giant fudgesicle with an iPad taped to the middle. I got great analyses, I know. But that's it, guys. That's going to be my rant about what the hell is going on with BMW right now. But lucky for you, if you're a BMW purist like me, we got lots of content on this channel. We are building this M5 E60 from the ground up. We have an entire build plan. Check it out here right now. Give you guys some context real quick. We've got the ducktail spoiler on the back. We have the rear diffuser. We have the custom axle back exhaust with titanium blue tips. This thing looks and sounds incredible. Check the rest of my videos out if you want to see some cold starts, some sounds, the build process, everything. We have the E63 M6 wheels on it, lighter weight, bigger frame. These things look super nice with this car, I find. We got the Hartge front lip. We've got the black front grille with the RPI intake scoops right on the side that give us a couple extra horsepower at highway speeds. What else am I forgetting? It's lowered on H&R Sport Springs. We got 15mm spacers in the back, none in the front, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some more mods. Check out the rest of that video if you want to see them all. And we have an entire plan coming up for this car. We're going to absolutely transform it. Performance mod coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. And with that being said, guys, what do you think? What is going on with BMW right now? Because I don't know. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. Please leave a sub if you want to see more of the car, more BMW content, more M5 content, everything. It's all going to be right here on the channel. Also, if you want to check out some car clothing, car culture clothing, JDM, German cars, whatever your pick is, apparelbyenemy.com is your place to go. We got every kind of car culture apparel you could think of, accessories, all kinds of stuff. Free stickers in every order and 10% off when you sign up by email on the site. Go check it out. Link is down below in the description. And I will catch you guys in the next video. My name's Chris. Thank you.